You make me happy. These times are cold.
Thank you, man.
Love you.
I love you.
Okay, so this is part 2 on how Kayden was diagnosed. So after we was at the hospital, after they found the tumor, they decided he needed surgery that day. The surgery was successful. After the surgery was successful, they just told us like what to expect and what was the next steps. Next steps was installing the drainage just to remove any fluids that was built up on his head and to just get to him to stay woke and back to himself. At that time we was in the hospital. He had to learn how to walk again, just do basic needs, which Kayden did better than what they expected. They told us a lot of things, like having brain surgery, you could not maybe walk, talk, anything after that. Actually, Kayden woke up crying for me, screaming, "Mom, Mom." So I knew my baby was okay as far as the talking. Secondly, we did like maybe two sessions with physical therapy while we was at the hospital, and I went to school for CNA, so I felt comfortable with taking my baby home and helping him versus him just being at the hospital, because at that time we only had Kylie, but I miss Kylie and Kayden miss Kylie, and his only thing that was keeping him there was him being able to walk on his own and just use the bathroom. So I told him I felt like I would be okay with that. The PT came in, gave me a gait belt, which is something you use to help them walk. I showed her that I knew how to do it, and that was okay with us going home. We went home after that, and then we discussed. I think it was like for a week or two after that, and then we had to go get him a transplant done, which is them collecting his old stem cells to give it back after chemo. We did that, went home and rested for another week, and he was doing the intense chemo at this time. The first hospital visit, I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. But during this first time, the first night he did, after the chemo, it went over for like an hour. He did well the first time, and they was comfortable with going on with the second round. Second round, it didn't go so well, and they knew they had to reduce how much they was giving him because it was too strong. But she also told us that because they were reducing it, it may not work. They wasn't sure, but they was comfortable with at least still giving him that. So after that round of them, no, I'm sorry, yeah, after that round of them reducing it, he still had problems. His organs had started failing at that time. It was just really, really bad. And this day I was just, just down on my luck and just really scared for my baby. This where the butterfly come into play. A butterfly flew by his window, and which would have been normal if we was low on the ground. His hospital room was so far up that we was on the same level as the helicopter. He had the helicopter pad right outside his window. So when I seen the butterfly, I knew things would turn around. And it was older lady. Her name was I don't want to say her name, but it was an older lady. She came in the room and she was like, I don't know you, but God wanted me to come by and tell you that this little boy is going to be okay and he going to be all right. And she told no lie. After I seen the butterfly and the lady came in, and she was just someone who cleaned the hospital. After she came in, Kayden did a whole 360. Like that round went well. We got home quick. He was eating. Everything was good. Third round, with them blowing it, everything was okay. It was a breeze. We went home, rested for a while, did another scan, and seen that it still didn't return. So at that point, Kayden was in remission. We all was celebrating. We was home with family. Everything was good. Some time go by. I was at the park with Kayden and his sister and his aunt. I get a call from his doctor saying that the scan we did the day prior had came, and that the lesion, which is the cancer, had returned. I was just completely in shock. Like, dang, I know the kind he got is aggressive and that it could have returned, but I didn't expect it to return. Not that soon. So at that time I was just praying, like, God, those are my biggest fear. Just please spare my baby. Like, give me more time with him. He's too young. I just was hurt. I was just hurt, and I had anxiety for a long time because I had a piece of my mind thinking that it could return. It could return. It was just always a piece of my mind. So at that time, we went back and discussed more treatments with his doctor of what's the next steps, and she thought radiation would be best. We did, no, oh, I'm sorry. After the first round, we had got his port removed, which is a unicorn line. He had it connected to his heart to get treatment. That had been removed, and we was in remission for a while after that. But the second time when I got the call at the park, it came back. We had to get another port installed. But this time we knew more about them, and we decided to go with the one under the skin, which would be easier to access, and we wouldn't have to do much as far as cleaning that one. So after we got that port installed, they had to heal for maybe 2 weeks, and we went straight to radiation treatment. And during that time, we figured out what was best for Kayden. He liked for you to do cold spray instead of normal cream, so when they do access it, it didn't hurt him. Kayden took all that really, really well for his age. And all this was over a 3-year span. After we started radiation, he completed it. It did better than the invasive chemo. He wasn't as sick, but he was sick. He was still able to go to school some during that, and we thought everything was okay. We did a routine scan, and we found out that the tumor actually did not leave this time, but it shrunk. So his doctor suggested that we do the at-home regimen, which consists of pills, and we just charted, whatever the case may be, come and see them and continue to do routine scans. After we did the routine scans, it wasn't shrinking, but it wasn't getting bigger either. So we was happy with that. Like, hey, we'll take it. You know, it's better than where we started. Sometime in December, after I've had his baby sister, Kalani, Kayden just started to fall sick and complain of, no, we noticed how he was walking and his leg was swollen. So I brought it up at an appointment. I'm like, hey, do y'all think y'all need to do another MRI on Kayden? I've noticed that his balance been kind of off and his leg is swelling. And she told me that it wasn't normal. It was due to some of the medication he was taking, because he was taking maybe like 10 pills a day just to get by, you know. So they did a scan anyway. A scan was coming up anyway, so they told me don't worry, we was gonna have a scan coming up. They would do it. At this scan, instead of us going home to wait on results, they told me that I wouldn't be going home and that I should go get some overnight stuff, because they found out that Kayden had more pressure on his brain, and that another shunt needs to be placed for him to relieve the pressure and to see how that will go as far as him being okay with the lesion still in there. This time, it was a shunt that was placed inside his head, not on the outside, so he was okay with going home with that shunt. After going home with that shunt, the first day he threw up on the way home. Me and Dad was just on edge. We wasn't sure if we should have been bringing him home. But he did a turnaround after that, but not completely. His balance was still off, and we just felt worried. So time after that, he fell really sick, and we ended up at the sometime after that, he felt really sick. We did like a visit at the hospital, but then we was okay. January the 1st, he spent New Year's at his aunt's house, and I told him that I wanted him to come home the next day. The next day he came home. I gave him his medicines. I told him to take a nap. Normally he would take a nap in his room, but this day right here, son told me to like pull his bed and come lay it on my floor so he could be close by. This time he put his bed on my floor and let it close by. I just was like, okay, Kayden, when we get up, we're gonna see your grandma. Right now, let's just take a nap because I'm tired, because I just had the baby. And Kayden took his medicine, and we both took nap. I woke up from my nap to him making a weird noise, and he was actually seizing. I called the hospital, and the ambulance came and got us. At that point, he was still seizing, and they was taking too long. But I was on the phone with his doctor. She instructed me not to move him, just wait on the ambulance, because they had stuff that'll revive him need be if he stopped breathing because of the seizures. So I waited on the ambulance, and this was about his final stage. So that'll be in part 3.